The divorce papers trembled in Rebecca Morrison's hands as she sat in the marble lobby of Morrison and Associates, unaware that the keys in her late grandmother's safety deposit box, delivered by a courier just 20 minutes earlier, had made her the sole owner of a $1 trillion real estate empire spanning 47 countries. Her husband of 12 years, James Morrison, stood 15 feet away with his secretary-turned-fiancée, Christina Vale, their matching smirks widening as Rebecca's tears fell onto the legal documents that would dissolve their marriage by sunset. But what none of them knew was that the empire Rebecca had just inherited included the very building where James worked, the penthouse where Christina dreamed of living, and the chain of luxury hotels where James had conducted his year-long affair. Christina's designer heels clicked against the polished floor as she approached Rebecca with a condescending smile, ready to mock the woman she'd labeled as the pathetic wife who couldn't keep her man. But she had no idea that her cruel words would trigger a transformation that would not only shock James to his core, but would also set in motion a series of events that would dismantle everything he'd built on lies. The question wasn't whether Rebecca would sign those papers. It was what she would do in the 60 seconds after Christina's mocking laughter echoed through the lobby, and whether James would recognize the dangerous calm in his wife's eyes as the moment his entire world began to crumble. Would Rebecca reveal her newfound power immediately, or would she let them continue their victory dance while she planned something far more devastating? Would James understand what he'd lost when the truth finally surfaced? Or would his arrogance blind him until it was too late? And what would Christina do when she realized that mocking Rebecca Morrison was the single biggest mistake of her entire life? The morning had started like any other Tuesday. But Rebecca Morrison didn't know that by noon her entire existence would split into a before and after. That would redefine everything she thought she understood about power, betrayal, and the invisible chains that had bound her for over a decade. She'd woken at 6, prepared James's coffee exactly how he liked it, 2 sugars, a splash of cream, served at precisely 185 degrees, and watched him scroll through his phone with the detached interest of a man who'd stopped seeing his wife years ago. But she'd smiled anyway, because that's what she'd trained herself to do. The coffee mug had still been warm in her hands when the doorbell rang at 8:45. A courier in a gray uniform holding a manila envelope with her name written in her grandmother's distinctive calligraphy. But James had already left for the office without saying goodbye. Rebecca had signed for the package, her fingers tracing the familiar handwriting of Eleanor Ashworth, the grandmother who'd raised her after her